Hello, good evening, and welcome to UPfront. My guest today is one of the few people I know in this republic who has expertise in both law and economics. He teaches that too, so he's a law lecturer. By all standards and qualifications, even at the graduate level, he has extraordinary competence in appreciating where we are today. But more importantly, he, in the year 2015, dragged the Bank of Ghana to court. Not long ago, just last year, he also had asked the Attorney General to prosecute the Bank of Ghana and some officials there. That's part of the exploration we'll be doing today, as Ghana is still in the phase of demanding or asking or begging for some help when it comes to its finances. Could you have done things better? Can we fix the perennial problem with our depreciating cedi? He believes that that change could have happened a long time ago. Dr. John Baden, you're welcome to UPfront.
Thank you.
I hope you are doing well today.
Doing quite well. What about you?
Oh, well, I'm coping. It's just that reflections, especially from your books and previous sayings, sometimes makes it interesting. Okay. Now, I want to start from this point. For those who do not know you, why? Because it doesn't usually happen. Those people wake up and say, Bank of Ghana is failing a specific duty, so I'm dragging them to court, so the court will compel them to do specific policy. Why did you do so?
Well, I did so because personally I had suffered quite a bit of financial loss or losses. In the year 1998, I was running a business, and believe it or not, I lost $100,000 within 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yes, just over the currency instability. Yes. So it's a serious matter. I have
as far back as 98.
98, 99, thereabout. The cedi depreciated. The exchange rate changed from 2,300 cedis a dollar, or no, 2,500 cedis a dollar to about 7,300 cedis a dollar within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yes. So that is about like 500%.
Yes, it appears to more than that. But that's problematic, right?
Oh, too serious. I mean, you can't. Listen, in my latest book, I have done this research that there's a positive correlation between a stable currency and a country's prosperity. You cannot progress nor prosper if you don't maintain a stable currency.
How do you mean by that?
What do I mean is that, we plan in life. Almost everything we do is through planning.
Yeah. And
you want to plan in a stable environment or in the presence of stable conditions. If your currency is unstable, you can't do any effective planning. And that is why even if you look around, a lot of contractors or even the government itself cannot even complete its projects. Because once in the process of the project, prices will change, and then you don't have any more capital to continue.
I see.
It's a very serious matter.
Yeah.
And we have toyed with this for years. It looks like it's no one's business, or we don't understand it.
But the monetary policy is the job of the central bank.
Sure.
Their business, is also to make sure that we have a stabilized phase to deal with this matter. Are you saying our monetary policy is not working?
It's not well. If it's working, we wouldn't be where we are, and you know that currently, we're having currency crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So meaning that the monetary policy is not a policy after all.
It's interesting. Is it the way we've set it up, or the people who are there? Exactly what's the problem with our currency, from your opinion?
It's management. So it's just the people who are managing the currency. They probably do not know why they are there. Because the thing is that, management, you go to business school.
They have PhDs and experience like you.
Well, it matters not. It matters not. And I don't know the kind of training that they had. But, when you go to management school, they will see management is not done in a vacuum. Management is done to meet an objective. So the question is, what is the objective of the managers or the policy maker, the central bank? What is his objective?
To stabilize the
And is it doing it?
currency.
It's a complete, total failure. And ever since time, they don't have any. As far as I'm concerned, they have not shown us any credibility in the abilities to give us a stable currency.
That's why you went to court.
Sure.
So exactly what were you asking the court to do?
Oh, so many things.
You asked them to stop a floating exchange rate.
Yes, I asked them that if the Bank of Ghana couldn't raise any defense. They couldn't explain why the currency has not been stable. They were rather alluding to political influence, but they couldn't really assert anything substantive or anything theoretical, to explain the situation. Okay, so it's a thing to do with management, and whether the management or whether the managers know what they're about.
Is it current managers or?
Oh, I told you that they don't have any track record in managing or providing us a stable currency. I mean, they've been a failure ever since time.
It's not surprising.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Because we've had different managers at the central bank.
Well,
We've had some we became finance ministers along the line.
Oh.
We've had some from the IMF itself too. We've had people of very different backgrounds, been to some of the best schools in the world. How come we're still where we are?
Well, in law, there's a Latin term that goes like res ipsa loquitur.
It speaks for itself.
Yeah, the thing must speak for itself. Now, just check their record, and then answer the question whether or not they've been able to bring us a stable currency.
Is it that you are demanding too much from them?
No. Listen, in practice, if your currency depreciates by 4% or more, your currency is not stable. Yeah. And boy, we have gone and we keep going.
Yeah.
There was a time, it's only in Ghana, there was a time that 9,300 units of Ghanaian currency was equivalent to someone's 1 unit. You know what I'm talking about?
I get you.
By the year 2007,
Yeah.
the exchange rate was 9,300 cedis to $1. But brother, think about it.
Yeah.
Someone's 1 unit was equal to our 9,300 units. So what does it mean?
Then we did redenomination.
What is it? No, that's when yes, we underwent the redenomination. But if someone's 1 unit is equivalent to 9,300 of your unit, then it means you are asleep. If you are a manager, it means either you don't understand or you are dead.
But we have had this conversation. The explanation, quite simply in economics, is that you are import dependent.
Oh, that doesn't matter. That's an old school thinking.
Really?
Oh, it's old school.
Import dependence is no problem.
Yeah,
We don't export enough.
It's
so we are not
school.
getting enough of the dollars.
It's old school.
Is the exchange rate that's the problem here?
No.
But we're exchanging to the dollar.
I mean, our international trade gap is like the U.S. The U.S. is also a net trade importer. They import more than they export. However, they are able to maintain the value of their currency.
But they own the currency.
It doesn't matter. I'm saying that there are ways to bring about, it's all about driving to your destination, knowing where you are going.
Okay.
Yes. So if you are a manager and you know that your task is to bring the people stable care, you do what it takes to bring about stable currency.
With or without import independence.
Yes, it matters not. It matters not.
I mean, even though we
it matters
get
not.
a lot of money, we have to look for a lot of dollars from crude, which we really don't have enough of.
It matters not.
Really?
Oh yes.
Now,
matters not.
what happened in the court case? Was it thrown out?
Yes, it was dismissed. For Reasons, well, the
This was at the Supreme Court.
yeah, the Supreme Court articulated 4 reasons why they were throwing the matter out. I think the first one was that they said they lacked the requisite knowledge in that.
The courts.
Yes.
The highest court of the land.
Yeah, well, they said that it's not a typical matter that the court, deals with. So and none of them is trained in that area, so they wouldn't even, get into it and try to mess things up because they think that the Bank of Ghana has some PhDs that is really their business. Another reason too that they said was that there were no precedents. They've combed the whole world, and there were no precedents of that nature for them to go by. And they were saying that they are not, even should they give judgment, they don't see how they can enforce it because they are not properly placed to enforce or even monitor. Okay, and then at that time too, that was the time that the government of Ghana had said that it was going to inject $20 million into the economy, if you remember.
Yeah, I recall.
So for these 4 reasons, the Supreme Court dismissed the matter, which is very unfortunate.
Why so?
Well, I think that if they had gone into the matter, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Really?
Yeah. Because I knew it, and I knew it was going to come, and I knew that it was going to get to a time that it would just blow into the faces of all of us. And that's where we are now.
Now, when you say that if they have dealt with the matter, what you're asking them to do, was it too much to ask of a court, or was it too much for the Bank of Ghana to do itself? Were they in the position to do the things you were demanding?
Well, the Supreme Court admitted that the matter was not out of place, meaning that it was well placed. I mean, there was no jurisdictional issue, meaning that they had the jurisdiction, the power to hear the matter and determine it. However, there are some shortcomings that they acknowledge and other things, so they wouldn't get into it.
This was 2015.
And yes, and typically, I mean, courts sometimes do that if they think, and they were honest that, hey, listen, this is not really our area, okay. And we won't really try to get into it, knowing that we don't know so much and go to mess things up.
What's a floating exchange rate regime?
Well, a floating exchange rate regime is a regime that the money manager can adopt. And when you adopt that regime, then it means that your currency value is determined by supply and demand of the market.
Which what happens currently in the economy.
Yes, we've had that since 1992. Yes.
And you find it problematic?
Yes. You know what? My theory is, or the philosophy is, that anything that floats is inherently unstable.
Okay, it has risk inherent in them.
And if something floats, then inherently it's unstable.
And that's problematic.
Well, if you're looking for stability and you defer to fix a floating, a free float exchange rate, then you don't.
It can never happen.
Yes, it can happen though on 2 conditions. Because that of the U.S. for instance, I mean, they call it a managed float. Okay, we can also. I mean, if you intervene, what we even call free float, we can also conveniently call it managed float, because from time to time they intervene the market. You understand? But the thing is that you see, the money manager must have targets, but it looks like we don't have any target. And when you go to some of the advanced countries,
I thought we deal with, for example, every year we tell you the targets. 8 plus or minus 2
what target?
Is the target for exchange rate.
No,
that's inflation, but we have a good target for making sure it's kept under control.
Consistently,
when you give you our MPCs, we tell you that our main aim is to control it and make sure that it's stabilized for a period of time.
No. We don't have targets. And even besides targets, the country can, on its own, and I'm talking to the parliamentarians, so far they haven't brought out any legislation to address this matter. and we can come up with legislations stipulating, you know, the quantum or the extent of of currency depreciation that we can tolerate or we will tolerate.
Oh, I see.
Sure. And that is why I'm saying my
would that be reasonable?
Yes, and I'm saying that this happens elsewhere.
Where specifically?
Oh, it happens in New Zealand, it happens in the US, it happens in the Eurozone. They all have laws.
Okay.
Yes.
Regulating the exchange.
Yes, that your currency cannot tank, you know, be below this percentage.
And what happens when it does in most of the?
Well, you know, in New Zealand, which is the most serious form or the serious case, the governor can be prosecuted.
Really?
And in fact, is prosecuted. And if the governor is able to get the currency maintained within range, the governor gets a bonus.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So there are rewards and also sanctions for not delivering on the job.
Sure.
Would it be prudent to implement a similar system here?
Why not? Because this thing is killing us. This thing has killed us from time immemorial. And it's killing us. If we don't take care of it, we're not going anywhere.
The exchange rate problem?
Oh, yes. If we don't take care of it, we're not going anywhere.
How do you propose we take care of it?
I've told you. That is why I asked the Attorney General to lift the veil of incorporation from the faces of the governors and prosecute them.
Oh, so that's what you said last year?
That's it.
That you were insisting that they should be
Sure,
prosecuted?
they should be. You know what they've done to us?
What?
I don't know, maybe you are okay. But listen, they have spoiled plenty of my wealth. Huh?
How?
The purchasing power of the CD is diminished.
Inflation?
So meaning that they've made most of us poor. In Ghana right now, a lot of households are in crisis. People can't even afford to pay their children's school. People are suffering.
I just don't get the point where you say it is the managers at the central bank who are responsible for this.
Is it you? Do you have the mandate?
I don't control neither the monetary or the fiscal policies of the state.
So the person with the mandate is the one you talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you hold accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so listen, in our legal framework, who has the mandate?
Oh, well, of course, central bank for
so,
monetary policy.
So my brother.
And the finance ministry
Res
for...
judicata.
But are they independent enough to make some of these decisions?
Why not? Now, the recent law that they have passed for their independence is beyond...
It's quite a bold positioning they're taking. Yeah.
That they are recent, it's like they can't even listen to anyone. They have the independence to do whatever.
Is that all right?
That is, for me, that law standing alone is irresponsible.
Really?
Yes. You know, the thing is that independence, I have no problem with independence, but almost always the wisdom is that you must trade off independence with or for stability. You see, you can't give someone independence for the person to wreak havoc onto the system.
So independence is a means to an end.
Yes.
The end here is stability.
Stability.
Okay.
Yes, but we have not mandated or compelled them to give us stability, and we're giving them plenty independence. So what is the independence for?
Was it not the argument of the central bank that sometimes they were unable to act previously because of the controls, the influence, the political influence that's brought to bear on them?
Brother, that really for me, that can only be speculative.
Oh, really?
Yes. What I'm seeing is the law, or what I'm seeing is the economic effect on my household and others.
I get you.
Okay, so the law says, I mean, you are the manager of the currency. Our constitution says you must give us a stable currency based upon your performance or the performance of the city. Are you really delivering on the constitutional mandate? No.
Okay.
So on that score, you must be prosecuted.
So
you must be prosecuted.
Can they argue these factors are outside their control?
Well, if you cannot do the job, ship out. If you are the governor and you cannot deliver, move.
Now,
that's all.
The question being asked here, I mean, because this is an important conversation. As you said, it affects the livelihoods of many people in the country.
Listen, it's a disastrous. You know what? It's a lot of people in this country are not sure of tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah. People are hopeless. You can't find work, And when you find work too, I mean, you are not paid well.
The pay is not enough.
Yes. And then prices keep changing on you every day. Is that the purpose of governance, my brother? Why must we have a government?
For development.
Not even for development.
Really? Because our collective prosperity is actually what we are.
Well, I mean, we must have a government for security and welfare.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, so what is happening, what is happening is making us insecure, what is happening is not providing welfare. What is happening is anguish, is oppression, it is depression. Listen, what is happening is inhumane and insensitive. And what is happening doesn't show that, we have a viable government.
Really?
Yeah, what is happening means that we are a failed state.
Not there yet, are we?
Oh, come on.
Now,
we are past it.
But we are still existing, we are surviving.
Failed state.
Yes.
Failed state.
When you talk about the financial part of this country and the structures that we have put in place, now you also talk about the new laws that give them independence, more of it actually, in a very bold, independent position that they have assumed.
That piece of that law, when I first read it, boy, man, who did that? And the did that. I mean, what was the person actually? I mean, you give them, a carte blanche like that. I mean, without demanding anything in return.
But it went through Parliament.
Well, so that's why I say I wonder the people who passed it.
But we have some very good lawyers in Parliament too. Some with PhDs like you.
I'm wondering because what is there is not taking us home.
Is it born of and from the experience that we had around the last financial sector bailouts, the crisis that we dealt with, the 2017?
No, but that for me that doesn't have anything to do with currency instability.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, so maybe if they strengthen the role of the central bank, they'll be able to play all of this, including
strengthen.
Strengthen
in what way?
By making them more independent, as they have argued.
They are already independent. They have their independence. Even in my my case, listen. Even in my case at the Supreme Court, the independence was even reaffirmed in the court's judgment.
On paper.
The court reasoned that the central bank is given independence and that the court would not unduly interfere.
De facto, in reality, does it happen?
Yeah. No. What do you mean?
I'm saying, in reality, are they that independent?
No, the thing is that the law gives you independence, so it's up to you, the governor, to take it and run with it. That's all.
Now, the question you raise here,
the
Attorney General's letter that you wrote to him, did he respond?
No, so far nobody.
Really?
Yes, the Attorney General hasn't responded. I copied the President, I haven't heard anything. I copied the Speaker, I haven't heard anything. I copied the Bank of Ghana itself, they also haven't come out. So is this a proper democracy?
But I mean, what were you expecting from people that you are accusing? They will not respond.
Well, no. I mean, I said my letter said they should ask the central bank to show cause why they must not be prosecuted, and they haven't been able to, bring out any defense. So meaning that they acknowledge that they must be prosecuted, and it's up to the Minister for Justice to make sure. What they have done, I'm asking, they have caused us unlawful damages to our monetary properties.
Okay.
Yes. That's the crime.
I get you from that point of view.
That's the crime. It's a crime and they must all be prosecuted.
Just the governors?
Yes, the hierarchy. They are the decision makers.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Unlawful damage to our monetary properties.
If the argument is that, listen, this has been a systemic problem from time immemorial.
I don't want to hear the argument. The thing is that the law says you must provide us a stable currency. Are you delivering on the mandate?
If external factors prevent that from happening.
Okay, they should come and tell us those external factors. No, it matters not. The law says get there. The law didn't have any consideration for external factors. Okay. The law says get there. So get there.
I get your point.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Now, the other argument that's been made all over the place is that some of these issues they are pursued. It will take a very advanced country to see them through.
But why do we
are not there?
Always want to think so low of ourselves?
Are we there? Yeah.
Listen, the kind of faculties that you and I have, you go to the so-called advanced world, it's the same faculties that I went to the schools that my PhD, I graduated with distinction. I was the only person. Huh? You can see it on my wall. My PhD is with distinction. And I was the only person who graduated with distinction. Are you with me?
So they are not better than us?
No, it's the same faculty, the same brain. I mean, we go to school with them. We beat them all the time. However, I mean, you know, even you come back, your people won't even listen to you.
So what's it about our part of the world?
Our part of the world is that we just don't know what time it is, or I don't know. But maybe it's either. I mean, I'm sorry, but maybe stupidity.
Oh, okay, I see.
Maybe that's what it is.
You focus a lot on the central bank, not in the least to do with the finance ministry.
No.
You're in charge of fiscal policy.
But what's that got to do with stable currency?
If we spend ourselves into range, if we actually have to get more money coming into the system.
More money from where?
If we
compel
the central bank to print more money,
well, that is why I'm saying that. Listen, if you are the governor and you know your mandate is to provide the people with a stable currency, and then some influence is coming at you to do something that will not make you realize your mandate, you don't do it.
Oh, I get your point.
Yeah.
Remember the recent issue to do with the amount of money that the central bank had printed, and the huge, and their explanation is that, listen, we are saving the economy, and with that, there won't be stability.
Yes, but we shouldn't even have gotten there to begin with.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's my point. We shouldn't have gotten there.
Why?
Well, I mean, why did we have to get onto the precipice like that? Then it means that something has been mismanaged, or somebody has been sleeping on the job. It's negligence.
Now, I want to bring it home to because in this country, we have all over the place attempts to always try to mop up and actually introducing interest rates increase, prime rate increases to try and drive out inflation and make that work somehow for us. Is that a proper policy, inflation targeting?
Oh, sure. There's nothing wrong. I have written a book on inflation targeting.
Okay.
But if you read my book, and then you compare what is in my book to what the central bank says they are doing. For me, clearly, I say that the central bank doesn't understand inflation targeting.
Oh, I see. How do you mean they don't understand inflation targeting?
Well, I'm saying just read my book. I have a book on inflation targeting.
Okay.
And read it and see what is happening here, whether they are the same.
One key
Either I don't understand or the central bank doesn't understand. But the thing is that as far as I'm concerned, my book has been vetted, and it is received the charter from the U.S. Library of Congress. So meaning that it's been read through and it's been accepted as good material. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm on the right track. But the central bank, if inflation targeting is their policy, I'm sorry, they have failed.
I see. And have you also drawn their attention to this?
Well, I sued them.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's...
I sued them, and I told them that, I mean, they are just a failure. They haven't... Listen, you know what? I attribute our consternations, our economic problems and challenges, all to the mismanagement of the economy by the central bank. I don't even blame the guy. It's the central bank. It's up to the governor to make... In every economy, the central bank is the doctor of the economy. All economies are doctored by central banks.
Why so?
Because who is in charge of money supply?
The central bank.
Yes. You know, and it takes money to get things done. Every economy is doctored by... It's money supply that brings about plenty. It's money supply that brings about prosperity. It's money supply that can also bring us happiness.
There's a proposal from Professor Steve Hang that we should rather have a currency board.
Well, my brother, have you read my latest book? And these are all options. You know, if you have a currency board, then indirectly you'll be having a fixed exchange rate.
Okay.
Yes.
So whatever gets us to the fixed exchange rate is fine.
Well, a fixed exchange rate is also a regime that you know we can adopt.
Okay.
The thing is that if you are a central bank and you know you cannot manage free float regimes, another option that you can have is a fixed exchange rate regime, like what some of the francophones have.
Okay.
So, but if you go currency board, essentially, effectively, you end up having a fixed exchange rate.
Now, the way you put the currency at the center of our problems,
Yeah.
do you make room for other happenings?
What happened is,
Like, for example, poor fiscal policy.
listen, my brother, I'm saying that the doctor of the economy is the central bank.
Okay.
And whatever, you know, the fiscal policy is nothing but revenue and expenditure. So, for me, well, what I see is that the only effect that it can have is the so-called crowding out effect.
Okay.
Where the large deficit can drive the government to borrow at whatever rate, and in that effort, it hikes the interest rates or cost of money unduly. That's the only thing. Are you with me? But all others are within the control of the central bank.
I get you. I get the point you're making there.
Yeah.
Now, when you propose that,
And also, I think we have a Fiscal Responsibility Act or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying that all of these we can, through law, bring about orderliness.
Okay.
We can bring law to bring about fiscal discipline. We can also bring law to bring about monetary discipline. Yeah, that's all.
And that's key to you.
Key. Listen, you cannot advance without law. Huh?
Even though people
Law. Listen.
are not compliant.
In our our existence, for us to live, or for us to have a viable social contract, we must have law. The contract itself is law.
I get you. but you've been told that in this country the law exists, but in reality things happen differently.
I'm talking about things that are not in existence, and you are talking about they exist.
Oh, no, I'm talking about they say that the regime has in and of itself a lot of provisions scattered across various
Then they should get us
statutes.
There. Then the Minister for Justice must enforce the law if the laws are there. And I've asked the minister to lift the veil of incorporation and do what is just. I haven't heard from anybody.
Is it disappointing to you?
Very, very. So, I mean, for me, it's a mark of insensitivity. Because we are suffering, my brother. We are suffering. Every day, sometimes I have to lock my gate. Almost every day, about 5 to 10 people will walk in here to hit me, to panhandle me. They come to beg for something. 2 cities, 1 city. I mean, can't have it. And listen, you know what? Law must make the people realize the minimum decencies of life. And this is very jurisprudential. Are you with me?
I get you.
The question is, why must we have law? And the question is, why must we have government? Law must make us realize the minimum decencies of life. You know, Genesis informs us that we were made in the image of God. True or false?
Yes, that's what we told.
So if we are made in the image of God, what does it mean? It means that we must acknowledge, revere, and recognize each other as God. And that we must respect each other. And that we must not let our people live in this hopeless and mostly hopeless, situation.
But the Bible,
you go at night. You go through Circle and other places. A lot of homeless people. Is this why we have a country?
But the Bible also says the poor shall always be with us.
The
poor shall always be with us.
Well, it's which one you want to take.
Okay.
Yeah, it's either we are made in the image of God and that we must respect our nature and the dignity that it deserves. So we must, whatever we do as a country, and relative to our legal framework. We must design so that each and every citizen will recognize, or will be given at least the minimum decencies, the dignity that every citizen deserves. We must not put our citizens in a state of despair, in a state of hopelessness. We must show that government has a purpose. And we must show that the government is always at their back.
Is it not easier said than done?
Listen, you can think to become, and you can also imagine to realize. It's mind over matter. It's not just talk.
Yeah.
You want to get there, you get there.
Recently, we were told that the central bank is running out of what they call it.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, that's
import cover.
Yeah, right. That's.
Is that a very serious matter?
It is. I mean, they are saying that it can only last. We have reserves can only last for 3 weeks. Import. The government does a lot of import. I mean, for public services.
Yes, from goods straight down to fuel and everything.
And not only that, even health. Military.
Yes.
All of that. So it's a serious matter.
Is Ghana's central banking structure fit for purpose?
Yes, it should be, because they has a law that authorizes us to do something, but it's just that the managers have failed to be in compliance. And this is the time that we must make them be in compliance. My brother, listen, you know what? If you are assigned a job and you can't do it, what do? You must be honest with yourself. Listen, I thought I could do it, but I realized I can't. So I'm out. Another person come take the job.
So they should resign en bloc.
If they will be sincere to themselves. Just ship out. You've just wasted the people's time. It's a waste of time. You're just sitting there doing nothing and bringing on anguish every day. You are just wasting the people's time. Ship out.
But you're not addressing those who appointed them.
Well,
because they are appointed by people to put them.
It doesn't matter. Someone has appointed you, but you have failed the person. So you say, principal, okay. You gave me this chance, and I realized that you go to the West, it happens, people get
on their own.
Yeah, on their own.
Let the job go.
Yes, listen, because it hurts to waste the people's time.
We've been through a recent, financial sector reform. We then moved on to do domestic debt exchange.
Yeah. Currently,
is our financial sector stable and strong enough?
Well, I'm not in a position to tell, but whatever is happening, it is what you can view it as sovereign default.
Yeah.
It's sovereign default. And sovereign default is also a financial crisis.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Will we get an IMF deal soon?
Well, I mean, you mentioned Steve Hank.
Yes.
Steve Hank is saying that based upon our history, even if we are given the entire resources of IMF, we will still blow it.
It's not a damning verdict.
Well, but things speak for themselves. That this is our 18th. So what? So is that not really a good estimation?
Is it that we don't fix the fundamentals, or we are just at the mercy of an international finance system that's almost crashing the poor and the less developed countries?
I'm not in a position to know, but the thing is that I'm saying that because I don't have the data.
Okay.
But whatever it is, it means that if we are going back to then, it means that we are failed, or at least we have mismanaged the resources, or maybe I don't know. They must tell us why we cannot, put our house in order. This is the only place we have. And we must make sure that it's working for everybody. Still, our people are in economic flights.
Okay.
People are still living. Recently, in the newspaper, Pantai Hospital, for instance, I hear all the skilled nurses, and they've all left. Are you with me?
For greener pasture.
Yes. And what is wrong with us? Can we compete? Or these human resources, it doesn't matter to us.
Okay.
Does it matter or it doesn't matter?
In fact, it's supposed to be more important
to us. people are not paid well, and then after that too, our currency is unstable, and then you cannot, live any decent life. It's destroyed so many families. A lot of homes is disintegrating because the men cannot provide.
I see. Now, the
true or false?
Yes, I'm told that that's the realities on the ground that we find today. Do you see this changing anytime soon?
I'm saying that it's all management.
Do you think we'll turn the corner?
It's management. It's mind over matter.
Do you think there's enough awareness about what ought to be done properly in this economy?
Well, we are talking, but the thing is that if we are not there, then it means the awareness is insufficient.
That's true.
Yeah.
And do you get the impression that managers of our economy at various levels agree, they understand, and they appreciate some of these issues?
Well, my brother, the thing is that what is that saying? That the taste of the pudding is in the eating, or something.
The proof of the pudding. Yes.
Okay. It's in the what?
Yeah, it's in the eating.
It's in the eating. So it's either it's happening or it's not happening. So if it's not happening, then it means that people who are managing it have failed. That's all.
There's a theory that elsewhere, central bank leaders are actually recruited based on their known theoretical position on how to manage the currency and other things.
Yeah.
Is that a similar system you deploy here?
No, not to my knowledge. Usually in other countries, before you are appointed or you are selected to be part of the central bank, you are assessed based upon your scholarship on central banking themes, like inflation, unemployment, currency stability, trade. Normally that's how you are assessed. So in your scholarship, the people who assess you will get to know your philosophies, what you stand for. And for a central bank governor, what matters the most is to have a strong detest for inflation. You must hate inflation so much, and that you must do all that you can to make sure that inflation is not in your economy. Or even if it is, very minimally. I mean, you got up to 4%.
So the general approach is that you hate inflation.
You must hate it.
You are a continuous fighter of inflation.
That's it.
But how is it that we are not... our inflation is 45 in the Republic today.
Yes.
That's strikingly high.
No. What did Hank say?
Oh, no, he's projecting way beyond that.
But
I'm talking about what the statistical service has been given out.
And you yourself, when you go onto the market and you do your own surveys, is it 45?
Oh, well, but that might not be reflective of the reality on the ground.
No, that's not it. You can also do your survey.
I get you. But I'm saying, even if you take the government's own statistical service and the very provisions that they are made in there, it is 45. 45 is extremely high.
Yeah, very high. But even that, on the market, it feels more than 45.
Is that not problematic? Is that not the expectation that you do more than just that? Is there not an expectation on our people that we will quickly raise to bring it down?
Is that not an expectation?
I said, is there not an expectation from the people of this country that we will quickly raise to bring it down? For example, in a place that is already known, the other thinking has been that we have tried, and they have tried, and people are even on, when inflation was less than 10%, and it was a bit around 9% in Kenya. They went on demonstrations. Yeah. In fact, they were repeated demonstrations. I'm asking whether there's an expectation by we, the people of this country, that inflation should be lowered. Do we have that expectation too? Oh,
expectation is one thing, and whether the reality is... I mean, the thing is that it's someone's business to make sure that inflation is kept to the barest minimum.
Yes.
And the person is not delivering. So what is it? What can the people do?
Now,
I went to court to fight this. You know, one of the... I mean, I raised inflation as an issue. And can you even believe that the Attorney General came to court and told the court that the courtroom is not the place to fight inflation?
Really? That's his understanding of it. But
I mean,
but, okay, now, the other point, though, for someone like you who's been fighting
but let
this
me ask you something.
Yeah.
When the people are oppressed, where must they go?
They actually resort to the law court.
Yes! And I was telling the Supreme Court that my people are oppressed. And this is the only place we can come. And we ask that you help us out. And it didn't happen.
Now, that's an interesting point. And my guest in this conversation is Dr. John Baden. Dr. Baden's many aspirations and conversations about, and of course, he's written a lot of them. It's not just talk. He's put them on paper, in books, and in some of them, and with double PhDs, he sometimes has. But do people find your theory strange?
No.
They don't think so?
No.
Do you, when you speak to central bankers, do they feel that you are being unfair? Because generally, they'll be thinking that, well, for a central bank, people would understand.
Well, me, I don't know, but I haven't. When I remember that one of the former central governors had a meeting with me and then was mentioning that when I brought the action, they were summoned to Senegal.
Oh, really?
Yes, by, I think, the West Africa Monetary Institute. You know, those people in charge of
Why me?
the ECO. Those
okay, yes.
And I was told that they were informed to listen to me.
Really?
What I'm saying is nothing outrageous. What I'm saying is humble. And what I'm saying is something that we need to save our own souls.
Have you given up on this crusade?
I don't know. I just don't know. I haven't yet, but I just don't have the time, right now.
Okay. Now, you see, the other point that ought to be brought in is that this is a man who is also been trying to go to court to get some of these issues resolved. Now, we sure should be exploring, perhaps in the final ends of this conversation, what else can we do differently if we want to? Because when we're going for the last IMF program, the previous one, we had a national consensus of a sort in the Senchi document. Then, post that, we are still trying to find ourselves conversations that will help us get economic prosperity as a people. When you look to your lifetime, do you think it's going to happen anytime soon?
No, my brother, I don't know, but it's all management, is what we believe in. You know what? To bring about prosperity, or to bring about growth, they are all anchored in philosophies. We as a country, what is our philosophy? What do we believe in? Where are we and where are we taking our people to? What do we believe in?
Is that not clear?
It's not clear.
Even the
if you know something, tell me.
Policy
talks
about
the directive principles of state policy. Well, you know the court's position on it.
There's no justice here.
Well, I don't know, but it's sad because it has so many goodies, so many goodies, that if we really had to enforce them, we will be a better.
If the people put pressure on their central bankers, can this matter be fixed?
Why not? But the thing is that, you can put all the pressure, but if the manager there doesn't know what to do, it won't go anywhere. All you need is you need a competent driver to be behind the wheel. That's all, my brother.
Is that how you analyze this?
That's all.
I really think that you think it's an issue of competence.
Listen, that's all. Listen, a central bank, the theory is that a central bank is pivoted by its governor. Yes. Everything is from the governor. Yes.
Doc, I need to wrap up on this conversation.
All right.
We sure should be talking more about the things we need to do to not only fix our economic system, but also our legal system. But for now, I'm grateful to you for your time this evening.
Okay, I appreciate your visit, and you are welcome anytime.
Dr. John Baden, with double PhDs, with a lot of writings, is actually a man that's wonderful and nice to listen to. I'm sure you have your own thoughts about what you said, but many thanks to you for watching today's edition of UPfront.